So a while back I heard of this game called The Hat in Time. I heard some really good things about it. I even heard it compared to 3D Mario game. And as someone whose favorite game of all time is Mario Galaxy 2, I instantly got extremely excited. So, I go to YouTube and I search a Hat in Time review. And the first video that came up in the recommended was by the Completionist. Who's this guy? I thought to myself. I usually go to IGN for game reviews, but it looked interesting, so I gave it a shot. And wow, was I impressed. I've never enjoyed opening credits so much. The part where he goes Super Saiyan with the beard instantly earned a sub from me. So yeah, go watch The Completionist if you haven't already. He's an amazing guy. I genuinely have no idea how he can complete that many games. Anyway, after watching the video, I was sold on the game, so I bought it and started playing. And let me just say, booting up a game doesn't usually make me feel anything. But as soon as the title screen came up and the music started to play, I felt giddy like a kid on Christmas morning. I hadn't felt that way in such a long time, so just for that, I instantly loved this game. So A Hat in Time starts out with Hat Kid in her spaceship when all of a sudden a mafia man starts banging on the window demanding a toll be paid for flying past their planet. And of course, being the stubborn little independent girl that she is, she refuses and goes on her merry way. But the mafia, being the mafia, doesn't like that. He hits the window repeatedly and breaks the glass, which ends up sucking out all the timepieces that power Hat Kid's ship. And they all go down to the planet below, leaving Hat Kid unable to get home. And that's where your adventure begins. A bit strange, but cute. In A Hat in Time, there are 4 main worlds where the bulk of your playtime will be. The first one is Mafia Town. Right after the opening sequence, Hat Kid lands down in a beautiful place called Mafia Town. And that's where you start to play. Mafia Town is a big open city that you can freely explore and collect the various collectibles such as yarn to make new hats and unlock new abilities, rift tokens that unlock different clothing colors, and much, much more. I love the mafia men that live here so much. They're so funny and stupid and an overall joy to interact with. The graphics in this game are a bit lacking though. They don't look bad, just a little flat and dated in a few spots. But that being said, Mafia Town has a beautiful color palette and an overall great aesthetic. I absolutely love this world and it's my favorite of the 4, and I loved all the levels in this world as well. From chasing down another kid who seemed to be fighting against the Mafia, to having to save Mafia Town from burning up because someone turned on the lava spout, to finally defeating the Mafia boss and getting the final timepiece from Mafia Town. After you beat the Mafia world boss, you and the little red girl get into a little bit of an argument because you refuse to use the timepieces to fight the Mafia. After all, you just want to go home. The little red girl doesn't like that one bit, and she vows to collect the timepieces and use them for herself to stop the Mafia. This was a great moment and I really looked forward to competing with her. Unfortunately, they didn't really do all that much with this until the end of the game, which was a little bit of a letdown. The next world, Deadbird Studios, is a Hollywood-style movie set. This world is split into 2 main parts, the Penguin set with DJ Grooves, the best penguin possibly ever, and the Owl set with a conductor who's not even a bird for some reason. On the Penguin set, basically what you're doing is getting fans for a movie and then shooting a scene from the movie. And to be honest, I didn't really like these levels, or this part of the world. It felt uninspired and bland, aside from the chapter's final level. I had to slog through these levels to get back to the good stuff, and boy was the conductor's movie the good stuff. The first level was a train murder mystery with creepy crows that asked you personal information in a hilarious way, and the lovable innocent owls were a great part. This level was a blast and the high point of my entire playthrough. And the second level of this world was a great action set piece as well. The third world, Subcon Forest, is where the game started to show its flaws a little bit more for me. While overall I really enjoyed Subcon Forest and the fantastic Snatcher, some of the platforming in this world really brought out the minor flaws I had been overlooking, such as the occasional wonky camera, not being able to tell where you're going to land, and overall platforming that could just use a little bit more polish to relieve some of the frustration it caused. The levels in Subcon Forest, in and of themselves, weren't anything special, but because of the great atmosphere and the fantastic Snatcher character, this world worked very well. Aside from that horror mission in the mansion that proved I don't have what it takes to play Alien Isolation. Oh man, I think I still have PTSD. In the final world of Alpine Skyland, this was another great world, by far the prettiest to look at and great fun to traverse. This world was less like the others because here you aren't following a story to get your timepieces back. You're just free roaming around a well-designed open world, traveling to the tops of mountains to get the timepieces. For as much as I loved this world, the problems I had in Subcon Forest were magnified here. There were many times where I swore I should have made that jump, or I died because the camera decided to have a seizure. But overall, these occasional things didn't ruin the world for me. And hey, it could just be that I suck at games. I'm willing to leave that as an option. My favorite side thing to do were the rifts. A couple showed up in each world after a while, and basically, they're challenge worlds a little bit more difficult than the main levels, but super enjoyable. And although the music is great everywhere in the game, the music in these rifts really took me back and reminded me of Mario Galaxy 2. And I've loved it even more for that. The boss battles in this game are great. The Mafia Town boss was a great introduction to them. With his difficulty, it took me 3 tries. Again, I might just suck at games. I'm willing to leave that as an option. All the bosses were a joy to defeat, especially the final boss, the little red girl. The culmination at the end, where everyone rallies behind you, is fantastic and really made me enjoy the final boss, even though the unpolished controls had gotten on my nerves a little bit. And after you defeat the boss, you get a really predictable, yet extremely heartwarming ending. There were enough things in this game that annoyed me, and I was ready to be done with it when the credits rolled. But even though I didn't feel like I needed to complete the rest of what was still left in the game to do, I have an incredible love for this game and will likely go back to it in the future. It brought me back a few years to the time that I would sit in front of the TV for hours loving every second of Mario Galaxy, and for that I'm very grateful. This game let me down in a few small ways, but I'm completely willing to forgive it, because of what it does well, it does incredibly well. If you love 3D Mario games, you'll have a great time with A Hat in Time. And if this is your first 3D platformer, you won't be disappointed with this. Even with the problems, for the cost you'll have a hard time finding a better value for your money. This game is incredible. Thank you for watching, you're a fantastic human being. Have a good day.